illustrator. I've self-published 3 books so far. My latest one being Street Cloud Black, Episode 2, Streets Warfare. It's actually a re-release of my original book, the original Episode 2 that was made back in 2007. I've been drawing for about 15 years. Nowadays, I mostly work with creative suite programs and acrylic painter, which is pretty much what this is made out of. Just have to be here, and like I don't do a lot of comic art. Really, I just really focus on getting the narrative out and getting the illustrations done for it. So I can bring it. My ebook right now is show off really quick. I just had a few minutes ago. So yeah, I've been writing for about almost about the same time. Just really got into Tsunami back in the day, and that just really took off from there. Just watching that, and I'm like, yeah, I really want to make this kind of stuff one day. And I'd say I've really gotten serious about it like the past 2 or 3 years. Like before then, it was more of a hobby. And then I just really sat down and just said, okay, what do I want to do? Like when I wake up at 7 in the morning or whatever, where do I want to go? Do I want to go to some cubicle, some office, or do I want to go to a good job, a cool job? Something I would actually want to do one day. So yeah, let me just go through this thing. So pretty much what I put out are some way should load. But that's okay. Well, pretty much a full ebook right here. So I've been focusing on more than anything else recently, trying to sell these go for events and whatnot. So that's pretty much me right here. So,
okay.
My name's Chris. I live in D.C. up here for a family thing with my wife. But I've been drawing since I can hold a pencil all back in there. My style is traditional comic book art, I guess. I do some color, and I can help out today. Maybe it might take a while. I don't do this as a profession. Because I have wife and kids, things like that. I have to sit at the desk job every day to make sure everything's taken care of at home. But when I get off of work, this is what I do to get away from everything else. Still trying to get better at a lot of things. I just got into digital, trying to get better at that. I got some stuff, see that everybody else saw some stuff earlier. Mostly just penciling. That's what I like. As far as stories go, I like all kinds of stories, westerns, sci-fi, action, not the boring stuff like we talked about earlier.
Slice of life.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Or you can have a mix of that with some action and maybe some sci-fi and everything. But I like stories that have a twist, not just a simple twist, but something that's really complex. Thinking, trying to figure out what's going on, why did it happen this way. Yeah. So pretty much me in the show.
Cool.
Oh, it's my turn? Yeah. All right. My name is Melvin Davis. I go by the Chesty one online. So if you try to Google me, you'll find me. I should do that. I do this. I sculpt. I mold. I cast. I make figurines. I make a lot of things that as far as both my 2D work and my 3D work, tends to be stuff you don't want to show your parents.
But it looks awesome.
Thank you, I appreciate that. A lot of my stories usually revolve around that type of thing because I too enjoy a nice, doing a nice solid story. Solid story structure will carry me from beginning to end and keep me interested and don't treat me like an idiot. I like those types of stories. My story formats are, again, I like crossing genres, mixing them together like a currently have a supernatural western that I'm kind of working with right now, and I put a lot of ethnic characters, ethnic leads in there, black, Asian, not so much Caucasians they're involved in the story, and I'm not doing that, but I think that when one thinks of hero, they should immediately be able to think of a hero that looks like them, and that's just how I see it, you know. So I enjoy, you know, working for not only. I like Illmatic, Rod Serling stuff too, you know, like you get to the end, it's like, oh man, I feel so sorry for you. You're buried alive. You're gonna die. It's horrible death. But you deserved it, you know. And I like telling those types of stories, and having, you know, a huge amount of eroticism. I like that, and action that's over the top, and ballistic action and that sort of thing. But don't treat me like an idiot. That's you know, at the end of the story, I need to come away from satisfied. So, that's my story. That's all.
Cool. Okay, well, my name is Tamika. I actually am here because I want to learn more about creating comics. My background is in art and actually creating it traditionally. But I do children's book illustrations, so I really want to, you know, branch out and do some other things. And I want to learn about the process of doing it. So I like sci-fi stories. I like futuristic type stories. So wherever I can fit in, that's where I'm going to get in at. But I can draw, and I think pretty well. Yeah. And so wherever I'm needed, that's where I'm needed.
I see a theme going on. Sci-fi. I work for sci-fi. He says sci-fi. Damn, there it is. See? Already start. Huh?
I got to pick one or
Horror over sci-fi? Okay.
mix the two.
Maybe mix the two.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm Dan the Man. I'm an artist. I'm a fan of comics ever since I can remember. Nah, Batman is my character because I like that he's human. The Punisher, same way. And they're both similar because they are very human. They're regular people that train very hard to get to where they at.
Batman too?
Yeah, both of them, And except one is more vicious than the other. And so I like the storytelling. I like good storytelling. I like good art. Sometimes, but when I've bought comic books, it's the art that's grabbed me first. And if the art doesn't grab me, I really don't want to read it. And only way after you like the stories, will you go ahead and continue reading it, even after they bring in some crappy art. But I believe in telling a good story and drawing some good artwork. And I'm getting to the point, maybe because I'm getting older, to the point where I want to see comic books that have characters who wear clothes and not the spandex and tight stuff. And I'm not anti-sexism or whatever, looking at women as objects. But the comic books take it too far with the superheroine in a thong. Right. Like, who the hell who does that?
Don't forget the stilettos.
Yeah, right. Yes, the stilettos. And
stuff hanging out.
And it's like, right, so like, who fights crime like that? Who wakes up, who gets up in the morning or in the afternoon and says, you know, this is it. This two pieces of fabric are going to be my costume. You know, and it's like, no, it's, I feel like when my art is a blessing, and but it's also a responsibility that I have to produce something that's people gonna like, people gonna appreciate, or even impact their lives in some kind of way. And I feel that artists, comic book artists, are, and there's also going to be the writers and the editors and all the people involved. They're misusing their talents. They're cheating themselves and us by producing the same stuff all the time. Like, why do we have to have the same stuff all the time? You know, and the comic book characters, and they got the tight, real close, or you see a new group of characters that somebody created, and it looks like the group that they used to work with before, and it had a big dumb guy and a little smart guy, and all this other, like, where is your creativity? Where is your voice? You know, I remember watching that movie Ray for dang it, you know what I'm talking about. Jamie Foxx is in it, and so the wife, Kerry Washington, says to him, "Where's Ray's music?" You know, and he's like, "I play whatever they pay me to do." She's like, "Yeah, but where's yours?"
Right.
You know, it's like, cool. Well, then we need to come up with our characters and our voices and our vision, our ideas, and so that's why I'm doing this. You know, I don't know much about comics other than they cost a lot sometimes, and artists don't get paid that much.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I almost got into it a few years ago because I like doing it. I like drawing. I hate the tediousness. It gets tedious after a while, and so I don't like that part. But what really set me off was what they told me when they told me how much they was going to pay me. And this is a company in Houston. I forgot the name already and what they wanted. And I said, no, I can't work for that. That's crazy. You know, who does that? Of course, by then I had been doing tattoos for over 10 years, so I can get paid doing what I do. That I don't want to jump into something else that I have to start from the very beginning. So I never really got into figuring it out. How do you create a comic from beginning to end? And I said, well, there's nowhere else we can go to without paying SCAD, $20,000.
Wow.
Or whatever it is they charge them.
That's semester.
A semester, right. Yeah. And or any other school, and it's like no. There's people here. There are resources. There are people who have more knowledge than me, and they said, well, let's grab them together and say, let's do this. Let's try something out. And what I like for all of us to get is the experience, to having done it. Whatever we end up with tomorrow afternoon is what we got. But the lessons and the knowledge you're going to gain and walk away with, I think that's the biggest advantage we're going to get out of this today.
Feels so much better now.
Yeah. Oh, man, look, I feel so much better when Dale started saying, oh, what we're going to do at the 24 hours. I said, we? I thought he was just coming for 2 hours, and taking off. And I was like, oh, snap, okay, then we're really going to do something.
Yeah.
So that's how I look about comics and art overall, and so that's why we're here. And so I'll let you speak. It's your turn.
Okay. I'm Delbert Hugh Jr. I am illustrator by trade. I got my 4-year degree from the London College of Art, and I came here specifically to get into comics. But at the time I went to school, which was early 90s, there was no comic book major, so I just picked illustration because that was the closest thing I could find to the freedom I could use to do comics. But for a long time I got really distracted, and for years I didn't do it. I would do it here and there, wasn't finishing stuff, And luckily for me, I had people around me like Sanford Green, who is a professional comic book illustrator, and he was like, man, you got to do something. You got to do something. So finally, I sat down and got serious about it, and so I've been working on doing comics for a long time, but it took me years to figure out that nobody's going to do it unless I do, because people will start things and not finish. I'll be hired to do pencils for a comic book that would never show up. They would never get finished. So finally, I got encouraged by Comfort Adam Love to do my own thing, do my own comic, write it, draw it, produce it, and just put it out there and see what happens. And I decided to go the webcomic route at first because that was the easiest way for me to put it out there for people to see with low cost. And so I did Kings of the Wasteland. It's been up for almost a year now. And I did a Kickstarter. I was successful, and so it'll be printed by beginning of next year. And so I learned the process of creating comics by self-teaching. YouTube, podcasts, anything I get my hands on. And so I think by next year I should have about 3 books out. So I'm working really hard day and night. As soon as I get off of work, I'm like, feed the kids, put them in bed, doing comics, you know. And I've been trying to figure out a balance, being a family man and drawing comics. It's hard, but if you love it, you'll do it, you know. And so, like you, I really want to see prominent African American characters, and so most of the stories I do have to do with that, you know. Because I really feel like growing up, you know, I used to love X-Men. Wolverine was my favorite. But, you know, Storm should be one of the most popular characters in the Marvel Universe, and she's not. You know, she's hardly even featured, you know. And so I really want to change that. Another change I got to do myself, you know. The reason why you don't see African American characters is because DC, Marvel, they're owned by corporations. So all they care about is selling comics. So their goal and my goal is totally different. And so if I want to see stuff done, I got to do it myself. And so yeah, I just draw comics like crazy. And so my thing is to eventually get to the point where I'm doing comics full time. And so I'm learning how to do that now, you know, which is going to conventions, doing the work, getting the comic done, getting it out there, promoting. And so it's coming together. It just takes a little time. And I'm really excited about doing a 24-hour comic. This is awesome. You know, sit here with creators, because usually as a creator, you're at home in a studio by yourself, just like this, listening to music or listening to a podcast, and you're just drawing. I rarely get the opportunity to sit here with creators and just, you know, put our minds together and create something, especially a comic. So when Dan talked about it, I was like, man, I got to do it. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I made it a point to have a meeting with him just so we can talk about getting him in here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for everybody for being here. We are expecting a couple other people, but they're going to come around whenever they get ready. In the meantime, what I like is for anybody who has a story idea to stand up and then tell their story idea or their character idea and just express it as best as you can. And then we'll move on to the next person and so on. Yes, and we can use that. You gonna show us something or?
Well, I'll show your idea.
All right. Okay. You need a board. Okay. So there's 2 of them somewhere. Where's the other one? Yeah, it's back there. Go get it. You can grab that one if you want.